Hey, it's Jordan. We spent a lot of time setting up the infrastructure to build, deploy, and run our application. Finally, we get to write some actual code. The first question we want to answer is, can we talk to Redis from .NET Core?
What the fuck is this?
So now what we want to do is we want to configure our ASP.NET app to talk to Redis. We eventually need to find some way to store the Redis connection string. And we want
let's do that later. Let's just focus on getting it working, and let's just be super ghetto and like put the connection string right in line source code for now.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best way to go. And then we can do something that's like proves that we connected, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one other thing to note, quick aside, on my box and on Track.js, we already have Redis for Track.js, and locally it runs on 6379. I don't think we want to use the same Redis instance for request metrics locally as we do for Track.js. That's my thought process.
I would agree that we don't want to mix our...
What do you think if we did a Redis on 6380 instead for request
That's
metrics?
fine.
Just for local.
That's fine.
Even though dev will be 6379. Is that okay, or is that too weird?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so what is the fastest possible way that we can prove that we can connect to Redis with our ASP.NET Core app? So we've got this home page here, right? Mm-hmm. What can we do? How can we get this guy showing some Redis stuff? So here we go.
How do you connect to Redis? Is there like a NuGet package that's like our Redis adapter, or do we want to build that ourselves?
Oh no, in my opinion, there's really only one choice. And so we've got this guy. So,
Stack Exchange.
So Service Stack Redis works too, and like people really like it, but look at how popular this is. Yeah. Right? And so this is the one that we use.
35 million people can't be wrong.
Yeah, and this is the one we use on Track.js. So I think this one makes a lot of sense. It's real fast.
Now, this might be a thing for down the road. Do we want web talking to Redis, or do we want to introduce our infrastructure project?
Well, I think the goal is to get this just working, right? And then we'll pull it out. And then if we're not going to do the config file now, I don't think we should do a new project.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll get this guy in there. Is he done?
I think he's done.
Maybe done. This thing's moving down here.
Go to output. Does the output say it's done?
Oh, there he's done. Finally finished.
There, now he's
okay.
done.
All right.
All right. So with that installed, we can probably just reference that directly from our view or whatever, which is terrible practice and all that. But we can probably just, to prove that this is working.
Yeah, we might do it from the home controller just to get a little better IntelliSense and stuff, right? Equals, and then they do this one using Stack Exchange. You can do a parse or a connect, I guess, and you just give it a Redis connection string. So we can just do 6380. And then I want allow admin equals true. So that's all this guy does is he allows me to delete databases and do other terrifying things. Right?
Okay.
So then once we get that, we have to get a database. And so for convention, we're just going to get the 0 database, right? And so this is actually going to be the Redis client. This is the thing that you actually do stuff. Like if you want to set a key or get a key, this is the thing you use. If instead what you want to do is get like server stats, for example, that you actually use the con for. So here's all the different stuff that we can do. So we can get a database, but we can also get a server. And we can do all sorts of other, get endpoints, get whatever. And so if we want to get a server, that's how we actually get like server stats. Like if we want to say how much memory is being used, that kind of stuff. So this guy takes a host and port. And so we can do this, 6380, right? And then we can do, is it info? Let's do like info raw, how about? Okay. Right, and then we can do like,
Cool.
sweet. So now,
Now, is there a database zero? We haven't created anything here.
there is one just like by convention. So I think there's 10, there's like 10 or 15 that are just in there, as long as Redis is running. And so then we'll just do, right, and let's see how badly this blows up.
You might want that as a pre, but
We'll
we'll see what it looks like.
I don't even know if this is going to work. It did work, and
Holy crap.
I think Jordan is right. So let's try a pre, and let's see if that works better. There we go.
Yeah.
So I have Redis version 4 on my box instead of the 5 that we just installed in the dev box, but that's fine for the purposes now.
Yep.
So yeah, so we're
Looks
connected.
good.
So let's do a class lib, and we want a .NET Core class library.
I think yes.
I don't know why there are so many.
I don't know either.
Okay, let's go to next. C#, Windows, Linux, Mac OS. That sounds good. All right, what do you want to call this thing?
Request metrics dot infrastructure.
Now, and he looks like he is going to put him in source here.
I think that's where we want it. Yeah.
Although I believe we have this other directory. Oh no, I see. We have request metric server then source. Yep, you are correct. My fault. I was confused. Boom. Look at that.
Nice.
Okay,
Good.
so we can get rid of this bullshit. All right, add class. What do you guys want to call this configuration class? Is it like, or do you want, is there a better name?
I like it.
Okay, great. So we want this to be, so ultimately we already have a situation where my local box runs on 6380, but the dev box runs on 6379 in terms of Redis ports. So we need some ability, one of the things I think we need here is we need a Redis connection string, right? That's gonna be one of the things that we're gonna pull in.
We probably don't even want to be able to set that.
We probably don't, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. We want to make it work first, then we can get into the fancy stuff. So a lot of times what we do is you'd have like a config file too, right? Like something where you can specify multiple environments. Traditionally, that used to be XML, but if we want to, we can make a JSON file, right?
Technically,
that
we
could
could
be-
even make a YAML.
No.
That's a good idea, Todd. I think we need to do that.
No. Do you want me to call it rm.config.json or requestmetrics.config.json?
I think since we called the class or the full name, we should call this the full name.
Like that?
Yep.
Boom. Okay, so then this guy, I think what he needs is like an environment. So he needs like local, which can be something, and then he can be like dev, which can be something.
Yep.
And so maybe it's as easy as 380 equals true. All right. And then maybe this guy is 6379. Look at that. Okay, so now how do
We're
we?
gonna hydrate that up from the file.
Yes, we sure do. Okay, and so let's see, what is the best way? So I like it when we don't need to, like this should be like a static. He should have like a static method, right? Like there should be like a.
Shouldn't the whole class be static? Isn't it just like the class is static, we access it statically, and then like as part of like the constructor or whatever.
What we often do will be something like this, where like we actually return an instance of, because he needs to have some.
Because you need to be able to. If we're gonna use a normal deserializer, you gotta deserialize the JSON anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
So you gotta deserialize it somewhere.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And like, so we could, one thing that I've talked about doing, we could just say like, is there an environment specified? Like, is there like an environment JSON or something that's like sitting in this directory? Look for it first, and if there is, like, use that, right? Instead of like an environment variable, it's kind of serves the same purpose, but it's a little easier to mess with, maybe. I don't know.
I actually think, thinking about it for a minute, we should do the same thing we do in Track.js for our own sanity.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah. So the other thing that we do, we always just make just like an enum, just so that we like are dealing with less magic strings, right?
We have an unknown environment. I don't know what environment I'm in.
General Jordan and I have become very, very ardent supporters of the unknown enum, just because like we don't want it to default to something valid, right? Like if we don't set this, like, unknown is fucked. Like that we should, like, we can actually call this fucked. Like that's. But we're not monsters.
Actually, that would, I mean, you'd know right away. You wouldn't have to do all that translation from unknown.
It's true. Okay, so for now though, let's just be really simple about it. So we can. I think the easiest way is just to. Do I not have file anymore in .NET? Come on, baby. So I think I want read all text. Actually, can JSON parse it? They can probably just eat a file, can't they? And give me the
I hope
JSON
so.
back.
Yeah. What's that new super fast JSON?
Yeah. Let's see what that guy can do. Quick aside for people watching the video, we want to use I don't know if it's new, but it's new to us, JSON parser. And so for years and years, we've used Newtonsoft JSON. And it works 9 times out of 10. But in this case, we're going to be doing so much JSON parsing from performance data coming in that it's going to be too slow. And there's a different JSON library called UTF-8 JSON, which I'm going to show you here in the web real quick. And it is incredibly fast.
It's definitely the fastest.
Yeah, definitely the fastest and zero allocation. So this thing is like I mean, here you can see UTF-8 JSON, here you can see JSON.NET. I don't know what this is measuring, but these bars are a lot higher, and that must be worse. So that's all I need to know about that to make sure we get it. So let's grab this puppy. So we got UTF-8 JSON, and we've got 2.4 million downloads. So I'm going to put it in both projects, actually.
Yeah.
Let's not put it where we don't
One
need
step
it.
at a time, right?
Oh, and so one thing to note here, see how we get 2 options? .NET Core 3.1 does come with a built-in non-Newtonsoft, supposedly not terrible JSON thing, but in terms of benchmarks, it's like the same speed, so not fast enough, right? So this is going to be deserialized, a request metrics config, and then he's got bytes, a JSON reader, a stream.
I think we'd need to pass it a file stream.
He also takes a string, so we could just pull it in that way if we wanted. We got a JSON reader. Yeah, would you guys rather do a string or a file stream?
Don't you have to use a file stream to get a string anyway?
No,
Well-
there's some niceties.
Well,
nicety. Let's do the file. Let's just like do the dirty until.
So you can just do this, right?
Boom.
So I'm not exactly sure how paths work in .NET Core, right? So
Yeah.
can I do?
Yeah, let's just try roll the path and see what happens.
And so then the other thing I need to do to this guy, right, is I need to copy him to the output directory. Is that true? Because we need to make sure that we can like get him all the time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna do that. And then this guy, I'm gonna get the JSON.
No, he's not actually a request metrics JSON config. He's an array or list of request metrics configs, right?
Yes. Let's try that. Right.
Yes, a string probably.
And this will be config. Yep.
It's the configs.
Whoa.
No, what's happening? Don't do that. No, you need to give it one more type.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, configs, as Todd said.
Okay, so maybe what we should do, this might be a good chance actually. Do we want to just set up a super quick unit testing thing so that we can just like run this guy separately from everything else just to make sure it's working?
Sure.
Is this a good time to do that or is this a bad time?
We got a lot in flight at the moment.
Yeah.
We do. We could just run this thing and see what happens too. So what we could do is we could do current equals. Let's just see if that works, right? What are you mad about?
You need config is the
Do
dictionary.
like first, right?
Yep.
Yeah, env, or yeah, there you go.
That's as dirty as it can be. All right, boys. I think we want to put that in like startup probably, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know where we do that. Use this method to configure the pipeline. Use this method to add services to the container. Maybe this is the spot.
Sure. Probably want to do it, yeah.
No, don't move on me. He needs to be static. So let's try. Are you gonna? Why won't you? There we go. Right, and then we can just do var config equals metrics config dot current. Right, let's just see what happens here. I'll put the breakpoint and we'll run it.
Oh, you know what? We actually do the same thing in Track.js. We do the assembly, get executing assembly, local path, blah, blah, and then combine it with the name of our config.
Yeah,
So we must have done it for a reason.
Yeah. And then what does it get? Like a path?
Yeah, then it's a code base.
Yep.
And then that is, what is that? Is that a string?
He's a nullable string.
Yep, so that's the location. And then we're putting it in a path and getting the directory name out of it. So like we're doing path dot get directory name and passing in that whole friggin' pile of goo. I wonder if there's a better way to do this. That's what we're doing.
Like this?
Yeah, right.
I mean, almost certainly there is. And so then what do we do with this directory? This is like, is it dir plus?
And then we're doing
Essentially
path
this.
dot combine.
Okay.
You can actually just do environment.current directory.
Let's try that.
Like that?
Supposedly, that's what 91 people on Stack Overflow say works.
All right, here we go again, boys. Hey. There it is.
Woo!
Okay, sweet. One other thing that we usually do, that we've done in the past actually, is we also, well, it's kind of nice. Right, we'll do like this guy. So we have like, so if you get an example of this config, it'll tell you like who it's for. Right. Oh, come on.
You got
Oh yeah.
you got to do
Yeah, and so
after
what
that.
we could do-
22.
What we could do.
We can
is-
do it right there after.
We can put him in here too,
We could.
if you want to. That'd probably be better. I'm actually curious because I want to see.
Yeah, how it does the.
Yeah, does it handle this like the enum stuff? Like, because it has not been my experience that in JSON.NET is my favorite. Boom.
Look at that.
There's a work.
Cool.
So,
So actually, hold on. So now, well, it doesn't quite work. So if we want to deploy this,
yeah.
like,
We either gotta commit it with dev.
yeah,
or we gotta
do more. So the way we do it in Track.js world is we load from an environment variable. And Jordan, do you have that code handy?
there is an environment.get environment variable.
Wait a minute, what's it, man? Public static void, load from environment variable.
Oh, you're running right now.
Oh,
It's angry
yeah,
about the
yeah.
running.
That's the one nice thing about IIS is you are like always sort of running. You don't have to like,
Yeah.
anyways. What is he? What's he? Isn't it just environment?
It's system.environment.
Whatever. Get environment variable.
Yep.
And then what do we want to call this? Let's
What do we call it on the other one?
We call it track.js_env.
And we should call this request metrics _n.
Boom.
Is it all like this, Jordan, or do we put spaces, or what do we?
It's all uppercase.
Oh, it's
But,
all uppercase.
I mean, why it is.
Do you want to do it like this?
Yeah, let's do that.
That seems like a thing I'd see in a Linux world. It seems like we wouldn't be. Request metrics.
We want to fit in.
Yep.
Don't want our environment variable not fitting in with all the other environment variables.
So it either equals that. If we don't have an environment variable, what do we want to do?
We should do
Believe our
nothing.
what is our current
Do
behavior?
we want to throw? Do we want to do it for local? Do we want to?
I would say we throw.
Yeah, our track.js behavior is it goes to local, but I am fine throwing as well.
Yes, it's exception in .NET world, isn't it? Hey, you need to set. And then Todd, this is the true magic of .NET Core. Templated strings. Look at that. No string format for us. Right, so now, okay, so this is perfect. So, and then if
You're not done. You got to actually do it.
Yeah. And so then I can actually do return, or I can just do load enum.parse environment. I need to tell it what kind it is, right? I forget what enum.parse.
We should probably do that parse and as part of the exception, because if we parse out a value that isn't valid, we should probably do the same throwing.
I suppose.
Pretty sure, won't he throw? I think he throws on a bad parse, doesn't he?
Right, this should blow up.
It should blow up.
Hey, buddy, you need to set this shit. Unless, out of curiosity, what did it? Environment null. Enum try-parse was fail, so that's fine. RMM is null. Okay, that's why I guess try-parse makes sense. Okay, so let's set it. Oh, here we go. Do you guys remember how to do all this? Let's just see if this works.
Come on. Hey, that's different than before.
I should have put a thing there. Got local. Sweet.
Cool.
Okay, we should see if that works. Okay, so we can do. There he is. That new box looks different. Oops. Nope. Right?
How do you get your server?
Oh, so check this out.
That's fine.
No. This is. Yeah, I've done that plenty of times, motherfuckers. Oh, yes, baby. Oh, yes.
You need your raw info at the end.
Oh, did I forget my raw info?
Yeah,
What is it going to print out? Eric Desk 2017, which is kind of fun. You're right, though. Let's get that guy. Raw info, raw. Okay. Boom. All right.
Boom.
Boom.
Lovely.
Boom, boom, boom.